Hannan Hussain is a senior expert at Initiative Futures, the global think tank focusing on security issues. Hannan, welcome. Where do you think this is heading?
Well, it's heading in a direction where there's going to be a large-scale intensification. We've seen that in certain signals from Kabul as well. Pakistan, of course, framing it as a self-defense imperative. But the fact of the matter is that many of the groups that Pakistan is sensitive to operate with tacit support from Kabul. So I think when we look at the drastic scale of casualties as well, I think it's going to be drastic escalation with limited prospects of guardrail.
Tensions between Kabul and Islamabad, of course, have flared before. And I wonder how this chapter compares with previous cycles of escalation.
Well, on two levels. So first of all, there's going to be limited space for mediation. We've seen that in past cycles as well. Kabul and Islamabad both pivoting towards their intermediaries within the Middle East. We've seen that within talks that were held in Istanbul as well. So I think those prospects remain a bit dim right now. And secondly, the key part of distinction is the fact that both countries are facing a trust deficit, which has widened exponentially. When you look at the hideouts that Pakistan has allegedly attacked and Afghanistan's pace of retaliation, both of them signal the kind of intensity which regional powers are also less inclined to step into in terms of mediation. And both Pakistan and Kabul have limited precedent of setting guardrails when it comes to casualty tolls exceeding 130 at a minimum.
Our correspondents have all alluded to this, but Pakistan is already facing significant internal security challenges. I wonder, how does that wider context shape Islamabad's response?
Well, on two levels. So first of all, Pakistan has been facing those threats happening in the south and as well as in the center. So there's great pressure on Islamabad to present any sort of an attack within Afghanistan as a self-defense imperative. And I think the fact that those domestic threats have escalated in recent times, we've seen them in attacks within Kabul, within the capital as well. So that basically adds to Pakistan's attempts to target these hideouts and present the narrative as something which is in the larger interest of the country. And I think when you look at the broader prospect of many of these groups allegedly being tied to certain, safe havens within Kabul, it leaves a lingering question about how tangible is the intelligence that is going to be shared. Does it have the backing from the UN sanctions group? As we talk, there's implicit enough evidence for Pakistan to make the claim, but will that lead to a drastic de-escalation in attacks on its own soil? I think that's where Pakistan's domestic counterterrorism strategy needs to be at a deeper focus, as opposed to attacking hideouts in Kabul.
Given the Iran crisis, Russia-Ukraine, I wonder how well prepared or preoccupied is the international diplomatic community to help resolve this?
So look, I mean, the Ukraine and Russia war, I would not link them entirely into this, because when you look at international powers as well, Russia and Ukraine obviously has a lot of deep stakes. We've seen energy flows within the Gulf. We've seen the U.S. and Russia also have a bilateral on that. So I think, and with European powers involved. So I think they're going to focus more of their energies on that front. And as far as Afghanistan and Pakistan goes, there's going to be limited appetite to resolve this, at the least. Yeah.
The casualty toll appears to be higher this time. I wonder, does that change the political or security calculation for either side?
For Kabul, it does, because Kabul for a long time has been banking on the narrative that perhaps attacks from Pakistan would be confined to, for example, double-digit casualty tolls, to say the least. And then, of course, there could be, recurring threats about, for example, cutting down trade, or then, of course, appealing to, this leverage which Kabul has tried to exercise with mediation support from China. But I think with the casualty toll hitting 130 plus, that basically raises the stakes for Kabul to respond in a way that shows that they have what they basically perceive to be de facto control over their own territory. So I think when you look at the stakes right now, the amount of casualty tolls and the prospects of follow-up airstrikes also falling through, it leads to a spiral of conflict which will lead Kabul and Islamabad both to basically put their political energies towards being strong on either side, with limited prospects of peace falling between the lines.
Hannan, good to see you, and thank you for your time. Hannan Hussain, the senior expert at Initiative Futures, the global think tank.